Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Richard Lewis Show. I'm your host, Richard Lewis. Joining me as he often does, not always, but very often, is, of course, Sam Davies, the man who pushes the button, the disjointed, ephemeral voice that floats in and out of the broadcast. How you doing, Sam?
Sound.
Back from Gfinity.
Yeah, mate. Back from the grind.
Yes, straight getting work to you.
Not quite like that, but it's long days, mate. Long days.
Yeah, esports, baby. Esports, we've all been there. So, yeah, man, you been up to anything else? I feel like I ain't talked to you in like 4 or 5 days.
Nah, but just fucking working and sleeping mostly. Like, I like the big bottle of whiskey as well. It's on display on that desk.
I got given this, you know. Here's the madness, right?
He's just giving you Jack.
Right, so I went out, right, like whenever I like go to an event, you know, I do like to spend a bit of time with like fans and people like that, you know, and meet with some people and stuff. So I got invited to some people who were visiting like DreamHack Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you know, you got to come out and have a drink with us, right? But I was like taking some other meetings, doing my intel, my probing, you know, like I do, so I can keep my finger on the pulse of everything that's going on in esports. And anyway, I didn't get a call like from these guys like, oh, you ain't going to stand us up, are you? I'm like, no, I'm definitely coming. Like, I'll go all night, you know what I mean? And they were staying in a hotel. They were over in the fucking Hyatt or something. So I went to the other side of town, and I get there, and the bar's closed. Bar closed at 2, right? Because it's Georgia, you know? But they said, oh, don't worry, we've got you a drink. That was the drink. They just bought me an entire bottle of Jack, right?
So.
Like, there ain't no mixes or nothing, right? So I'm just sat there, like, just swigging.
Water it is.
Yeah. So I drank, like, just half that bottle of Jack while I was just holding court. I'd already had a full day's drink with me. So, I mean, that was, like, that's what we call the fucking memory ray. You know what I mean? It's just, I barely remember the last 2 hours. Somehow I teleported home.
Nice.
Yeah, the Uber driver probably loved that one. Yeah, you are. You're all right, you man. You're all right. So I don't know. Apparently, I don't even know if they still rate you like passengers. Apparently,
so. I remember before when I was in Atlanta and I was coming back wrecked. I was so wrecked. I got in a taxi instead of an Uber because my phone was dead. And when I got out, I just left. He's like, "Are you paying?" I was like, "What are you on about? You're an Uber?" And he's like, "I definitely ain't no mate. Yeah, I need cash." I was like, well, you're going to have to go to a fucking cash machine, aren't you, mate? Because I thought this was an Uber the whole time.
So what, you just got in someone's car?
No, I got in a cab. It was a taxi, like. I was so wrecked. It was after the Ely after party, and I went to a bar on my own. I was just blitzed up my mind, talking shit. And I said to the bartender, "You want me a taxi? My phone's dead." He goes, "Yeah." The bartender like walked me out to it because he was like, "This guy's gonna die." He takes me out. I got in the cab, and oh mate, I forgot actually. I got him to take me to Waffle House first, right? I went to Waffle House, and I went in, and there was legit a queue of about 40 people, and I stood there for about 5 minutes. I was like, I've changed my mind. I want to have a Waffle House. So then I went back out, got in the car. He's like, "What? You didn't get food?" I was like, "Nah." Took me home. "I ain't paying you. You're an Uber." "What do you mean? I'm definitely not." I was like, "Well, need to get back in the car, go to a cash machine." Went to a cash machine, took me back, and then I got home. Sound.
That's so stupid, dude. Yeah, you don't go to Waffle Houses late at night, man. They're fucking mega busy around here. You know what I mean?
Got in the car. I was like, "I'm starving, but where can I get feed?"
Yeah, Waffle House. But yeah, the problem with the Waffle House is, do you know what I mean? Like, they're always full late at night, brother. Always. I could have told you that. But, so anyway,
that was the day I woke up in a pool of sick in the morning as well.
Nice. That wasn't in my house.
No, that was in my old place when I was working with the Daily Dot, and I was in a white shirt. Woke up on an inflatable mattress covered in sick, and no, because we had a spare one. I literally just deflated it, rolled it up, chucked it in the bin, blew up the other one. That's retired for now.
Yeah, you've been retired officially, man.
It only costs $20, man. I ain't scrubbing this mattress.
Yeah, I haven't had a spew for a good while, actually. That's part of the problem. That's how you end up with a beer gut. You spend your entire youth, you know, all the elders telling you, like, if you're sick, you know, it's like it means you're an asshole. You're a you know, piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, a weakling, right? They call you kids belly. Yeah.
And mate, if I'm spewing, there's a reason. Whatever my body's spewing, I'm just gonna believe that it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, but then like, so you spend your entire like, you know, youth training yourself to be able to hold drink, and it would just be way better for you if you just throw up now and then.
That's what I mean. Just let it out.
So anyway, you probably got some pictures of people who've been buying all our sick merchandise, haven't you, Sam?
Yeah, I've got some. So the first one is, hang on, let me uncover him. There he is. Sam W. Delorme.
Nice, yeah, no, Delorme. Yeah. Sam Delorme, good lad.
Mug. Nice guy. Yeah. Then we got G. Michael Spud Guy with a Didn't Happen shirt. And no, it didn't get marked as sensitive material. Weirdly. Only that one guy got right. And then the last one is our young gun, who's doing a Rocksmith stream with a shirt on. So there you go. If you like Rocksmith, have a sniff.
Yeah, go check that out. That's that thing where you plug a guitar into your PC.
Yeah, it's like Guitar Hero, but with a real guitar, I think.
See, I'm down with the kids. You know what I mean? Look at that.
Does that as well, doesn't he? Or Vince, rather.
Yeah, Vince, as he's now known.
Yeah.
But he does it with a bass, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he plays bass.
He's a bass player. He's not quite cool enough to be a lead guitarist, you know?
Yeah.
But he's a solid, hench lurking in the background bassist. Like, I'm all right with that. You know what I mean? So look, I've got loads of stuff to talk about, man. The world is just getting more and more retarded. I was wrong. It's not getting better, Sam.
I knew it, mate. I tried to reason with you.
No, it's not, though. It really ain't. I thought it would do, but it isn't. And there's just so much didn't happen to start the show with. Like, it's all downhill from here, basically. Like, so if anybody, if anybody is already in a bad mood or feeling a bit depressed, like, just fucking bail now, because because honestly, this is just this is the show where we're all just going to despair for humanity. There's going to be some evergreen updates in there, a little bit of good news, but for the most part, everyone's just mentally ill on planet. Like, it just happened, mate. It just happened. It's like, I used to read like horror books and stuff as a kid, like, Day of the Triffids, the plants are gonna get us. You read all these zombie books and watch zombie movies, the undead are gonna get us. Like, nah, it's just stupidity. It was stupidity all along. It was mental illness all along. That's what's gonna get us, and that's what's got us. And we're already, the virus is already replicating.
We're spreading.
It's already spreading, and we all know it's gone past critical mass. It really has. It's too late.
Airborne, waterborne. It's just coming from everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's just born. Jason Bourne. Yeah, these two people who are just fucking morons just have kids and spit out more morons, teach them the way of the moron. And that's that. And then they go, the one place you would hope they would go to, like a school where they might learn something. Nah, they're full of morons.
Ran by morons.
Yeah, ran by morons. Litigated for by morons. It's over, mate. It's over. We're done. We're the irony is we are the resistance against the resistance. It's over, mate. But anyway, look. So I'll start with some didn't happen. This is pretty retarded. Oh, no, the image is gone. That's upset. We'll have to skip that one. Someone deleted it out of sheer shame. I thought this one was pretty good because this is just like the most, like, who would even believe this? Who would even believe this for a second, Sam? So there's this guy, he goes on Reddit, wants to brag about what he's been up to. And he says, this cop, I think this is meant to be Bean. So this basically, this guy is just trying to pretend that this policeman was trying to arrest him, but he challenged him to a fist fight. So the police officer just said, fair game, mate.
Square goal.
Yeah, square goal. Anyway, this cop been harassing me for a while. I told him, let's throw hands, N-word. I respect the guy. He threw down with me and didn't arrest me. Only in Hartford. And there he is, all smashed
Smelling
up.
burnt toast.
And I did like the top comment on the That Happened subreddit. The cop's name, Throwbert Downstein. That's pretty good. But anyway, it just turns out that this police officer has nothing to do with this. He was, there was a report. It was just like a local police officer. They were just taking the picture from a guy who was accused of like roughing up some suspect, and they just presented the other side of it. But this guy just took the photo and made up a mad story about it on Twitter. So, a completely unbelievable one as well. Like, I mean, that's just absurd, isn't it? Obviously, a cop's not going to go right.
Throw hands.
You stand. I'm arresting you on suspicion
Being a pussy ass bitch. Now square up.
Yeah, I invoke my right to trial by combat. Sounds ridiculous. Then there was this, mate. Right, what do you know about snakes? Like, if I said to you, Sam, tell me all your top snake trivia. What do you know about snakes?
They can detach their jaw to open things much bigger than themselves.
So you.
Yeah, snap it out. I don't know. That's basically it. They slither.
Yeah, they slither. I mean, this is it.
I'm running out.
Their skin.
Some of them kill shit.
All right, good. So you're not big on snakes.
Out.
Well, turns out this guy on Reddit weren't big on fucking snake trivia either, right? Because one of the fundamental things you got to remember about snakes, Sam, is that they're deaf, mate.
All right.
They are deaf. Now, there was this video of a little girl, and she was watching TV with a big albino python, like, kind of wrapped round her, right?
I saw that.
Yeah, which is fine. You know, I mean,
Is it though, mate?
It wouldn't be fine if the python just wanted to kill her, because then it would. But I imagine, you know, it's been around her for a while. And, you know, when you raise animals...
Mate, haven't you watched Jungle Book? Don't trust the snakes, mate. Fuck that.
Christians fucked
Would
it up.
Would you ever leave your kid around a python, mate?
I mean...
Come on, just think reasonably now.
Raised since it was a little itty bitty.
Mate, if I'd had it since it was a fucking worm, I think being around my kid, mate, motherfucker could just choke it out in a second, mate. No way.
It works like that, Sam. I don't think, you know.
Snakes definitely could choke a kid out, but we see.
Like, how pythons kill is they wait up a tree, like to kill something big. They wait up a tree and they land on you and knock you out because it takes so long to fuck you up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A kid though, and she isn't expecting to get choked out. He could just be like, "Hey, I'm just sliding along your neck," and no way, mate.
Anyway,
I can't believe you're on the side of the snake.
I just think snakes get a bad rap. That's all. They haven't had the best PR, have they? Down the years, gardener
for reasons.
What reasons? It's just some mad mental primal fear.
Maybe Jungle Book has just programmed me to hate snakes. Maybe, granted, but still.
You shouldn't be taking your cues in life from the fucking Sam.
I listen to Baloo and Baloo only.
So anyway, here's the thing. They're deaf, mate. They're fucking deaf as a post. So, and then they pick up everything off, you know, vibrations and that. So this cunt on Reddit saw that video. And he just made up a mad lie for no reason, right? Straight mad lie, right? Look, large pythons and anacondas that have been kindly raised by humans are very friendly and even can be very careful to not harm them. Years ago, I worked for a science education company, and already this is going off the rails.
Science education.
Yeah, science education company, and we had an 18-foot long anaconda. It was a good 18 to 24 inches thick. I think it weighed over 400 pounds. It was trained, as in when we would give our 2-minute long speech about it, it knew key words and would do something. My favourite parts, don't be afraid of Julius. He's completely harmless if you're not a rabbit. At which point Julius would look towards all the little kids, open his massive mouth and give a loud hiss.
He thinks it's SeaWorld.
Then snuggle his head under your armpit. Or later, all snakes like the warmth given off by people. They will try to wrap around you for your heat. Cue this massive snake uncoiling from the floor and spiraling up around your body to rest its head on your shoulder from behind. Or his favourite food is rabbit, which is where he pointedly looks over at the rabbit exhibit. Yeah, we actually fed him rabbits from there. But his favourite seems to be guinea pigs. I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, what? His favourite food is rabbit, but his favourite seems to be guinea pigs.
He couldn't even keep this part of the story straight. You know what I mean? And he would slither right over to that exhibit and act like he was trying to get in through the Lexan, plus a bunch of other little things. It was a very smart snake. One day, some D-bag was being aggressive towards one of the small women who worked with him. So this is like a white...
I know, that's what I was going to say. Why is he making the snake a white knight? Why is the snake going to be an SJW?
fedora, right? 3 of us didn't even have time to move before Julius broke right through the Lexa window of his off-hours area and started chasing the guy away from her. We were all shocked. The guy actually sued. Thankfully, it was all on VHS, and the judge said he deserved more than being scared, then turned around and convicted him of assault and clapped. So someone just replies with, snakes don't have ears. What lying for, dog? Right?
What are you lying for?
Snakes don't have ears. And then he goes, true. But
true.
Just Googled that now after my lie. But they can feel vibrations, which, as I'm sure you know, speech is vibration.
Goddy.
And some guys, damn near anything can feel vibrations. But if you ask a deaf person to tell you what to say based on the vibrations of your voice, you're going to have a bad time. Snakes are amazing, but deaf, you're full of shit. And of course he was. Because there's no way that there is some mad snake performing like a fucking dolphin. Right?
White knights as well. On the side.
And a woman is being attacked by a D-bag. I will save you, milady. Come on, dude. Get a fucking grip. Then I saw this as well, like just another, bit from Reddit, because Reddit, as I said, Reddit is just a collection of just, mentally ill liars, all just, lying to each other for fame and status. This just makes no sense to me. Like, someone tweeted it at me, and I was just like, who the fuck even attempts to, like, make this sound like reality? So, my middle schooler is alt-right. This is in the parenting. Okay, let's just look at it this way. Yeah, but let's just look at it this way, though. Middle school, alt-right. Okay, all right, I'm in. So I don't know where to turn for help. So I think Reddit might be able to help with some parenting.
That's where you've gone wrong.
Reddit can't do shit. They can't even get basic anatomical details about snakes correct, mate. You got problems. My little boy has been a shining star of my life since his dad walked out on us after I had a short fling with another man. Sounds reasonable.
Fucking hell.
Sounds reasonable. Sounds like that dad made a good choice. I had a short fling with another man. He only bloody left. He has been an absolute superstar, great grades. He's on a baseball team, and he even has a little girlfriend. There is just one problem. For his age, he is extremely political. Ever since that orange asshole, I think she means Trump, started running for president, my son has been in love with him. He does impressions of him, and it's extremely obnoxious. If I hear wrong... It's that annoying voice again. I'm putting him up for adoption.
Reasonable as fuck.
Well, he also corrects me from time to time when I'm talking about politics with friends. He told me the wage gap wasn't real when I was talking to my friend about my paycheck.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I talked to other parents about this, and apparently it's normal for boys his age to love the president. But after looking on his computer, I was shocked at what I found. He browses a website called The Daily Stormer, and it's honestly the most shockingly terrifying thing I have ever seen. This is the most virulently racist website I have seen. Not only did they call President Obama's wife a prehistoric ape, but also things I literally don't even think I can post on Reddit. I confronted him about it, and he snapped at me for looking at his computer. Eventually, he calmed down and told me that he wants a future for white people.
Didn't happen.
In this country. Immediately,
didn't happen.
Immediately, none of this happened. And this is just another little, I will try and show people that Trump supporters are all secretly racist. And look at what the youth are turning into under Trump. And if I put this on Reddit, people will believe it. This shocked me because I made it up. No, this shocked me because this is borderline Nazi shit. Let's be clear. It just is Nazi shit.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It is.
So it's not real, so it doesn't matter. I asked him why he feels that way, and he told me the teacher at school is constantly talking about black history and politics, and he interrupted and asked, what about white people? And the teacher snapped, there is no future for white people. Also didn't happen, by the way. Which, I mean, is absolutely true.
Sound.
I can check my privilege and understand white people are going to be smaller and smaller role in the world, and I'm okay with it. I tried to explain this to him, but he immediately got angry and called me a race traitor and told me to scrub that kite shit out of your head with a bullet, Mom.
What the fuck?
Now, that didn't happen, did it? There's no way a middle schooler said that to his mother, right? This happened yesterday.
You're grounded.
Yeah, and I literally have no idea how to approach this at all. I'm in a daze that my child, who's literally picture perfect, is a borderline fucking Hitler worshipper. How in the world do I solve this? You log off Reddit and you start making up bullshit. That's mental, isn't it?
You go to the doctor, you tell him what you've been doing, and you hope he can help.
You tell him that you're delusional and that you're demanding everyone shares in your mental delusions for attention, and he gives you some really strong drugs, probably lithium-based, and hopefully you stop being a danger to society. Right? Maybe. So anyway, so that didn't happen either. I mean, I think, but there was a real big didn't happen. It didn't happen to top, dare I say, Trump. All didn't happen, right? And I'm sure you know which one I'm going to say. J.K. Rowling.
Did you see I just saw it just before the show, actually. I saw her apology tweets.
Oh, she's actually apologized?
Yeah, she deleted the tweets now and apologized, so we can do a follow-up.
Long enough. Fucking took long enough. So here's the thing. J.K. Rowling is mentally ill. I don't know if a lot of you know this.
100% is.
But she's mentally ill. But that's fine. A lot of creative people are seriously mentally ill. You know, that's just how it goes. But ever since Trump got in office, she's another one of these people suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. She spends all day tweeting bullshit about Trump, stuff that just isn't true. I'm sure she tweets stuff that is true as well. As we keep saying, there's plenty to criticize Donald Trump over. I mean, this revolving door on the White House is getting fucking stupid. The mooch went today.
Yeah, I saw that. But he resigned, didn't he?
No one really resigns. You know, Trump walks, daggers in, drops the "you're fired," giggles to himself like a schoolboy, walks out.
Did you see there was a tweet like from the 21st of January, sorry, where apparently Steve Bannon said to Sarah Mucci, like, over my dead body you'll get this job. And then 10 days later, peace. And
then it turned out Bannon was dead.
Yeah.
To be fair, the best tweet I ever saw about Steve Bannon, because obviously, look, there's lots of garbage out there. 99.9% of what people say about the White House and Trump and Bannon and stuff like this is all garbage. But I did see a wicked tweet once, and it was Steve Bannon looks like the guy in a sci-fi film who has been infected with an alien virus but hasn't told the rest of the crew. Right.
Yeah, he looks like a double agent from Star Trek or something. I don't know what. He looks like a heel.
I think he just likes the sauce, and you know, if you're a political journalist and all that, you know, then yeah, you know, I think you would. But anyway, so basically, what happened was Donald Trump had like a press conference, and because he was giving a speech about healthcare reform. And he invited a family of a 3-year-old boy called Monty Weir to the White House. And Monty has got spina bifida, which, you know, I don't know if people are familiar what it is, because it's becoming less and less prevalent, is my understanding. You know, the cases are in decline. Certainly when I was growing up, it seemed to be more common. I was more cognizant about it. There was some even specifically rude names, horrible names for kids who had it when I went to school. Anyway, so it's a spinal cord malformation is what it is, basically. So, you know, you lose your ability to do certain things physically, and in very severe cases, it can be really impairing. And you need to have medical treatment, and you're going to be in a wheelchair and all of this stuff. So Monty turns up. He's 3 years old. He's in a wheelchair. And basically, Trump's giving his speech, and he goes around. He shakes everybody's hand. And this furor occurs on the internet where J.K. Rowling saw this video. And I'll link you the video here, which is entitled "Trump Ignores Disabled Boy Who Holds Out Hand to Shake." And you can watch this video. This just goes to show, by the way, people are still falling for some of the most basic tricks in the mainstream media arsenal. Things like selective footage, selective quotes, things divorced from their original context. This is how easy it is to manipulate the average moron. But just play this anyway. It's 24 seconds long.
Hang on.
And
you go 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Gosh.
Oh, bruh. He hasn't looked.
Thank you, everybody, very much.
All right. So that video goes out into the public domain, and in isolation, it looks pretty bad, right? Looks pretty bad indeed. Because you can see the kid reaching up to him. He's got something in his hand, by the way, which we'll get to in just a second. But J.K. Rowling saw this and seized upon it. Now, before we get into J.K. Rowling's tweets, which are as absurd as you would expect from someone who is seriously in the grips of Trump derangement syndrome, a very real, serious mental illness, let me just find you the video of Trump actually spending time with little Monty. And indeed, here you'll see here, I think if you go to 2 minutes and 11, this is the uncut video. So we're not using selective footage either. This is the complete video. I think if you go to 2 minutes 11 and just play it from there, you'll see a very different, kind of take on what occurred.
Of the United States
On a 3, 2, 1. All right, 3, 2, 1. Go.
of America, President Donald Trump.
Now, would you look at that? He's leaning in. He's talking to him, shaking his hand, right? Says hello to a few of the kids, Ignores the girls.
Yeah, I know.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah? And there you go. Thank you very much.
Pence.
So
Secretary
you can see he didn't ignore the kid at all, did he? He, in fact, actually made a point of coming down to the kid's level, saying something to the kid, which we don't know. We have no idea what he said. But certainly he made the effort to actually talk to the child and make physical contact with the child. So what J.K. Rowling was saying is just complete nonsense. So let's have a look at her tweets.
Got a picture of him if you want to. Oh,
yeah, you go. You go for it. I'm gonna. I've got a full list here as well. So
slide it to me, yeah.
All right, no worries. Well, they've been deleted now. So, yeah, these are the originals. There's some quotes in here. I mean, basically, what J.K. Rowling has done now is she's actually managed to enter and follow in Trump's footsteps because she is now rated pants on fire in PolitiFact. Right, which of course Donald Trump is many times because he has told a bunch of lies. Because businessmen and politicians probably is the people most likely to tell lies repeatedly. So anyway, let's have a look at the tweets. There's a link to an archive version there as well if you want to bring it up. So everything lives forever on the internet. Let me just read it to you. Trump imitated a disabled reporter. Now he pretends not to see a child in a wheelchair as though frightened he might catch his condition. Nice little bit of psychoanalysis going on as well. This is what I mean about J.K. Rowling. I don't know why she's tried to reinvent herself as some sort of great political mind. You write kids' books. Let's be real.
But
right?
I showed loads of them though.
Right. So she also says, unless related to him by ties of blood and therefore his creations, children are treated with contempt because they do not resemble Trump. My mother used a wheelchair. I witnessed people uncomfortable around her disability, but if they had a shred of decency, they got over it. So yes, that clip of Trump looking deliberately over a disabled child's head, ignoring his outstretched hand, has touched me on the raw. That man occupies the most powerful office in the free world, and his daily outrages against civilized norms are having a corrosive effect. How stunning and how horrible that Trump cannot bring himself to shake the hand of a small boy who only wanted to touch the president. Now, of course, as you can see, that didn't happen. I mean, that clearly didn't happen. And here's what's interesting as well. The mother even put it out there and said J.K. Rowling was fucked in the feed because she did. Right? And here's the thing. Do you know what was in his hand?
What?
Right. Well, here you go. He got a special gift from the White House for attending, did little Monty. And here you'll see, this is Marjorie Weir, Monty's mum. She goes, if someone could please get a message to J.K. Rowling, Trump didn't snub my son, and Monty wasn't even trying to shake his hand. He's 3, and handshaking is not his thing. And 2, he was showing off his newly acquired Secret Service patch. So they gave him an honorary Secret Service patch for attending the White House. I have no idea if Trump gave it to him himself, but certainly you can see that's what he's holding up in his hand. You know. So there you go. Absolutely ridiculous. So this is what I'm saying. She has smeared Donald Trump here. She's smeared him. She has tried to imply that he hates disabled people, disabled children. She has said that he doesn't have a shred of decency for something he didn't do. Right. And now, yes, I'm looking at it. It seems that she has apologized. I'll read you the apology. Ari, regarding my tweets about the small boy in a wheelchair whose preferred hand the president appeared to ignore in press footage, multiple sources have informed me that that was not a full or accurate representation of the interaction. I very clearly projected my own sensitivities around the issue of disabled people being overlooked or ignored onto the images I saw, and if that caused any distress to that boy or his family, I apologize unreservedly. These tweets will remain, but I will delete the previous ones on the subject. It's not the family you owe the apology to, Miss Rowling, writer of Harry Potter. It's not the fact you didn't offend the family. You lied about the president of the United States and tried to imply that he hates disabled people, which I'm sure if somebody did about you, you would quickly ring up your publicist and have them absolutely hammered for a defamation suit. So none of this happened, and this is what I mean. This is the ridiculous kind of constant need, right, to portray Trump as, again, criticize him. And you saw this fucking trans in the military shit that he did. You know, I don't support that. I saw a lot of people trying to say, well, you know, you get banned out of the military for lots of different reasons. You know, you might have asthma, you might have mental health problems, you might have depression. So it makes sense that you would ban trans people. You know, I don't necessarily agree. I think you assess people when they join the military to see if they're fit for service. And if they pass that assessment, then whatever background they're from, they should be allowed to serve. If they pass the background, if they meet the requirements. That's all there is to it. And I'm sure he knows that. This looks like a move to placate people in the military, honestly, because they're sick and tired of any, you know, negative issues that come out about it. So better to just exclude people. But I mean, again, it's the incompetence, right? Like, he doesn't even officially pass the policy. He just tweets it out. You can't just tweet policy. You can't just tweet that out.
A law.
Yeah, you don't. So I'm not saying that people you know, didn't lose their mind about that as well, but like, There's plenty to criticize this administration for, like every administration, but you just got to keep your fucking perspective, right? I mean, this is ridiculous to make up, just to falsify that he hates disabled people so you can rant about Donald Trump. This is the shit I'm talking about. This is how I end up in the column of Trump defender. It's not because I essentially want to defend a billionaire who has risen to the highest office. I'm not going to, that's not me. That's not who I am. But equally, if you lie about somebody and smear someone and defame someone, I don't care who it is, if there is a powerful apparatus in place that continues to misrepresent someone, I'm going to speak out about that. That's how it should be, right? You should care about people being represented accurately, Interestingly enough, just on an aside, I saw Chris Reagan tweet this out, right? The criticisms of Trump are everywhere. You can't escape it now. This is what I mean about the world's getting worse.
How long
Chris
do you
Reagan,
think Rick and Morty do one, by the way, mate? I was going to ask you.
Well,
What's that guy, like the Dan Hemsworth guy?
No, I don't think that'll fit in there. I don't think so.
I'm just waiting for it, mate.
They've already ruined a few things for me. So,
Not this, please.
Please don't take away my Rick and Morty, right? But anyway, so Chris Reagan tweeted out. He said he was like Googling some lyrics for a Foo Fighters song he wanted to do a cover of or whatever, because he's a musical guy. And, they did this. So here's a Foo Fighters song, hey, hey, now can you fake it? Can you make it look like we won? Hey, hey, now can you take it? And we cry when they all die blonde. And somebody has done an annotation, right, of what these lyrics mean, because that's what this website does. And on the side, right, it says it's about saying how effectively can a politician lie to the masses. This can easily be shown with Donald Trump in the 2016 election vowing to serve for all Americans during his victory speech, while his campaign rhetoric called for mass deportations and building a wall to keep at him. That definitely isn't what that song is about.
Fucking hell.
That isn't what that song's about at all, mate. Come on.
I bet he thinks I'm part of the resistance. I'm doing my fight.
That isn't what it's about.
Just dribbling on the internet.
I think the song was released in '99.
So
now it's no way is it about Trump in any way, shape, or form. Not unless Dave Grohl has a fucking time machine. And if Dave Grohl has a time machine, why is Kurt Cobain still dead? Why, Dave? It's ridiculous, isn't it? So anyway, they're everywhere. Anti-Trump nonsense everywhere. Just before we get into it, I've got a big prolonged session because this show's a bit bitty. It's kind of like all over the place. I did see something ridiculous. Because again, social justice types and their nonsense. Like we talk about this a lot. Like a lot of people get called ableists now.
Yeah,
we're all ableists if you say certain things, right? Well, okay, let's say you were a boy, right, who didn't have any legs, and let's say you want legs like all the other kids. Your school or whatever.
Stem cells, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to cure it, Sam. That's not within.
Give me $100 man. I'll shoot some stem cells and you'll be right as rain.
But look, here's the tweet, right? And it's a bit cheesy, honestly. But you can see it here. Look, the tweet says, "Appreciate what you have," and it's a kid with no legs, and what he's done is he's drawn chalk outlines of where he'd like his legs to be, right? And it's horrible, isn't it? A kid with no legs. There's obviously some like semiology at work in that picture, right? So it's like, we probably assume it's Africa. We can probably assume it's in a country that's got, a civil war ravaging it. We can probably assume it might be something to do with landmines, which is still out there just claiming children's limbs left, right, and center. So Yeah, that's sad. Now, is a kid with no legs wanting legs? Does that make him ableist?
What? What?
Genuine question, Sam.
Nah.
I don't think so either. I think that kid should be allowed to dream about having legs.
Who's fighting the other side of this, mate?
Butchers, mate. There you go. Have a butchers. There's a reply here from Kia Brown.
That kid want legs.
Oh, look, more inspiration porn and ableist trash. A fucking mess. And so someone replies, instantly livid. Not livid about the kid not having legs, not livid about the fact that we have countries in the world where kids can't walk through a field without having their limbs blown off. Not livid about that. Livid because this is somehow ableist, right?
That's fucking insane.
Mate,
how could you be angry at a kid wanting legs?
It's mad, isn't it? It's pure madness. And then look, here you go. More replies to it. This is porn. This is absolute garbage and exploitation at its highest. Agreed. This is inspiration porn. If a disabled person feels this way, they likely need more contact with the disabled.
This can't be real, mate.
These are real, Sam. These are real.
Mate, how can this not trigger something in your brain that you're angry at a kid for wanting legs? What the fuck is wrong with your head?
It's. Do you know what I mean?
What the fuck is wrong with them?
No, but we saw this before. I can't remember what story it was, but you remember it was some person. It was the deaf one. Remember the deaf kid? And they played the video of the kid hearing its mother.
Oh, yeah.
Voice for the first time, and underneath a bunch of people going, "Well, I wouldn't want to cure my child's deafness if my child was born deaf. Like, why not? Why would you want your child to go through? I'm deaf, and actually, if you hang around with the deaf community, you'll realize we have our own culture." Dude, like, please
stop off.
Stop projecting your shit onto a child, so a child has to live a lower quality of life just because you're insecure.
Be illegal. If you stop your kid from being cured of deafness, I hope you go to prison.
Yeah. So there's that. Now here's another thing, right? That'll blow your mind. Now this is really bad. All right, this is really bad. You guys got to strap yourself in. Okay, you got to strap yourself in for this. All right, it's a video. We all like videos. God knows we don't read anymore. We like that's right. But there's a new type of privilege, Sam. There's a new type of privilege. It's the coolest privilege that's out there. Because you know about white privilege, which basically is that if you're born white, regardless of class, economics, background, you just have an advantage immediately.
Yeah, I've yet to see those dividends yet.
Yeah. I'm waiting on mine. You know, my white privilege card hasn't arrived yet. I don't think. You know, I've
tried asking for discounts in restaurants and stuff, but they just said that I was mentally ill and I had to leave.
I tried that as well. Yeah, I mean, we know when I was like couch surfing, making no money, living on £40 a month, suicidal, going out for walks, thinking I might just hang myself. Do you know what I mean? Didn't really feel a lot of white privilege there. You know, didn't really feel a lot of white privilege there. And in fact, if someone lectured me about all the privilege I supposedly had, that probably would have been the thing that tipped me over the edge into the abyss. But anyway, so there's white privilege, there's bodily privilege, there's all sorts of privileges. Yeah, you know, like if you're able-bodied, there's cis privilege. Yeah. Like, oh, you have the gender that you were born with, or whatever. Privilege. They call it privilege. You know, we all still got the same problems at the end of the day as people, right? We all deal with the same shit. Yeah. For me, the only true privilege is wealth.
Yeah.
And if you come from a wealthy family and you inherit wealth, I would consider that
class, I guess. If you're like really upper class, then I guess the wealth doesn't even matter then.
Well, maybe, you know, but I would consider that privilege. Fair enough, right? That's inherited privilege. But the rest of it is kind of nonsense to me. But whatever. But now there's something called cognitive privilege, Sam.
Does that mean if you're not mental?
Cognitive privilege is where if you're smarter than somebody else.
Fuck off.
Listen, cognitive privilege is the new privilege, and basically, if you're smarter than other people, it's a type of unfair privilege that needs to be stamped out. This is legit. I'm just play the video.
We're gonna have to give you a lobotomy, mate, to make it fair.
Right, so just hit me with the 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
Have you heard about the newest privilege? The University of Iowa's newspaper introducing us to cognitive privilege. Daily Iowan writer Dan Williams explaining, quote, the accident of being born smart is a great benefit that you did absolutely nothing to earn. You have nothing to be proud of for being smart. Here to react is University of Iowa sophomore and campus reform correspondent Marina Hymas. Thanks for being with us, Marina.
Thank you for having me.
Can you explain why you're mentally ill?
You read this article. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I completely disagree.
No, she's
not.
She's normal. She's one of us.
And I will not have some writer take it away by saying I was born with it.
Is there a danger in naming all of the different privileges? We hear of white privilege, now cognitive privilege. Is there a danger in that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always told as a Hispanic woman, I was born to a Hispanic single mother, that I'm underprivileged. And I just think that it's not true at all. And I think it's a cover-up to undermine my ability while someone trying to say that they're helping me as a Hispanic woman. I don't believe that I need any help from anyone that's not myself.
Yeah, because even smart people, even those with cognitive privileges, they still have to work hard to get a job. They still have to go out there in the real world and work hard. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you're going to get you're not going to get handouts your entire life, right?
Exactly. Hard work is something that should be rewarded, and it's not fair to say that you're born successful. You definitely have earned it.
Well, what exactly is cognitive privilege for folks that are waking up and watching you this morning that didn't read the article?
So cognitive privilege is the idea that intelligence is something that we're born with, and we have no control over it whatsoever. So hard work is not in the equation for success.
Have you talked to the person who wrote this article? And if you haven't, what message do you have for that individual now?
I have not, but I would just like to let that writer know. You know, with campus reform, we see a lot of these white privilege, male privilege, and now cognitive privilege. Talking about privilege is going to lead to a generation that believes that they are victims and that they are completely helpless, and that is not true. We need to be teaching students that they are capable of doing whatever they can to achieve success, and that's not given to them by their color or by the way that they were born.
Well, Marina Hymas, your mother should be proud of you. She did a great job. Thank you so much for coming on with us. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So cognitive privilege, Sam. Cognitive privilege. It's coming. It's coming. Now, being born smart, because that's exactly how it works, apparently. You know, that writer seems to have cracked the nature versus nurture debate once and for all. That's it now. I mean, if you know, now people are going to be saying, well, I wasn't born smart, so I should get extra dispensation on my exams and my academic.
Oh, mate, yeah, I'm fucking dumb as shit. So could you give me $1,000? Because I don't want to earn my own grands. Cheers.
Well, no, actually, what's more likely to happen is that people who can prove that they are victims of you know, this cognitive privilege, that they aren't party to the privilege, they'll probably get additional marks, right? I mean, that would be the proposal. That's how you would fix that problem, I imagine, in the minds of the people who believe in that shit. But this is where it's all headed, where any disadvantage, it can't just be that we're all different and some people get breaks and some people don't. It has to be that there is a group of people at play, the powerful, who hold everybody else back. And this is what people believe for everything, for race, for gender, for sexuality. That if you are instantly in the group determined to be more powerful, which can be assigned in a way that just completely makes no sense. I am not in a secret, shadowy Illuminati-like society just because of the color of my skin. You know, that probably disappoints a lot of people, but it's true. I'm not. Yet I will be treated as if I am. You know, my background has more in common with a person that would label me as privileged for being white than it does with the people who are, well, yes, let us more brandy Fortescue. Like I'm not about that life. It's ridiculous. And now cognitive privilege, like what the fuck? Like you can't even be smart. You're not even allowed to be intelligent without it's raining on someone else's parade. Like, come on, got to draw a line somewhere, surely. But I don't think we're going to be drawing a line.
Draw a line in America now, half each. The mental go that side, we'll stay this side. We'll have half of Texas each, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like that very much, but I don't think it's going to happen. You know, I've said the future is that we should all be separated by like ideology. Like that's what borders should be now, because race and nationality and ethnicity and religion, it's starting to mean less and less, right? But the ideology you're on, that's what people are willing to go to war for. So why don't you just have all the fucking, you know, let's do it. Let's do California. California want to be their own country. Great, have it. You have it. You be your own country.
Yeah, you ain't getting any water, like, so enjoy that fucking drought thing, man.
Give it to them. Let's do trade deals. You'll never see a Democrat president of the United States.
For 50,000 iPhones, we'll give you 10 litres of water. Let's go, Silicon Valley.
Let's do it. At this point, it actually makes more fucking sense. You know, because there's divides in this country with one group of people, the progressives, going in a direction that seems insane to me. And everyone else just wants to get on with their lives, as far as I can tell, and not be called evil just because they were born a certain way, you know? But yeah, whatever. So, look, we're probably coming up to the halfway point of the show. We've got the Evergreen update to talk about, and I want to get into this date-a-daddy nonsense. Let's just do a few little headlines before we go. I was saving this for an I Hate It here, because I think it's the worst fucking story I've ever heard, with quite possibly the worst headline of all time. So I just want to get it out the way before we go to a break. Is that all right?
Yeah,
this will kill the viewership, Sam. They won't come back, because this headline is mental. This is how you know it's a sick, sad world. It's a sick, sad world, Sam. Right? This is the story in the Daily Mirror. There was an unsolved murder of a child. Let me just get there. So there was an unsolved murder of a child that went missing in 2012. Well, now the police, they've pieced it all together, Sam. They've pieced it all together now. And they believe that the father killed him. Now, the headline tells the story. I don't think I've seen a headline this bad ever in my life. I don't think I'll ever will again. The headline is, Father Kills His Son After Boy Finds Photos of Him Eating Poo While Wearing Women's Clothes. So the kid stumbled across some photos of his dad dressed as a woman eating shit.
What is happening?
Right. And the dad didn't want the son to tell anyone else, I guess. So his solution to this embarrassing problem, you know, the solution to embarrassment, Sam,
His face,
is to kill his own kid and then hide it for 4 years.
what the fuck?
You know, it's mad, right? Denver, Colorado,
That is
I believe.
mental.
You know, what do you even say about this? It's so insane that people are just this fucked up. This is planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen. This is why, as I've got older, I'm just turning into Russ Cole, mate. I can't do it. You know what I mean? It's all one ghetto, Sam. A giant garbage can in outer space We should all just stop breeding and just fucking hand in hand, just march into nothingness. So there you have it. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. Don't want to talk or analyze that. Just a few words before we do go to the break. In fact, no, fuck it. Let's just go to the break. Yeah, so we'll be back in about a minute. Get fed, get watered, and we will be tackling Evergreen. We'll be talking about campuses falling apart, and more importantly, we'll be talking about Data Daddy when fan art goes wrong. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us, and let's just get into. We'll ease back in it gently before we hit the big parts. I did see something right now. Keep in mind, right? Like I got a very open mind about what's a stupid use of your time and what isn't, right? Because I've been an esports journalist for, however long it is now. So obviously, it says to me that you can do whatever you want, and it could be a pastime, it could be a pursuit, it could be a sport, it could, whatever. But there's even I draw the line somewhere, Sam. And I wanted to show you this because this is madness. This is madness. I don't understand what these kids are doing, Sam. Right? I've seen it all. Okay. And I suppose I'll put the caveat in, as long as they're happy. Right? But anyway, just let me know when you're ready to play
3,
this.
2, 1, go. What is that?
Yeah, they gathered for the annual Hobby Horse Championships.
Hobby Horse Championships. Isn't this just shit hurdles?
Walks about 200 people. The riders, by the way, almost all girls between 10 and 18 years old.
And they're taking this seriously. If you look at their faces, they're not smiling.
She's having a cry.
I don't know.
Look at the frame.
Prancing around.
It's great.
They actually do this.
What the fuck is this?
Like dressage, show jumping. The vast majority of the hobby horses are handmade, colorful creatures.
This is why millennials are fucked, me. Fucking millennials with their avocados and hobby horses.
And through social media, some of them have been.
Yep, so there you go. That's your future brand of indie games developer. Like, come on, man. Let someone have a word, like. So, yeah. But anyway, so there's that. But here's the other thing, right? We're going to go from one set of horses to another. You remember the article in New Statesman about the Nazi furries, right? Called The Third Reich.
Yeah.
Which seems to buckle everyone whenever I tell them about it.
Good,
No one believes that it's real. People think I made it up, right? But it is true. It is real. Well, the alt-right Nazis, I guess we're going to have to surrender the term alt-right. It now just means what the mainstream media say. And even though the guy who coined the phrase never meant it to mean this, turns out Richard Spencer, an absolute fucking cretin, can just co-opt anything he wants. And I wish he would just co-opt the word Democrat, so then we could see how stupid the argument is that just because a racist says, yeah, this means us now, doesn't mean that it does, but whatever. So Playboy. Right, you know Playboy doesn't have boobs in it anymore, right?
What?
Yeah, you not hear that?
No.
Nah, they just stopped that now.
What do they do now, then?
They just do Playboy was always good for articles. Like some of the best writers who ever lived have been published in Playboy. Right, this is true.
All right, mate. All right. Come on, you can't say Playboy was one of the best writers. Who was reading the articles, mate?
Lots of people, mate. Are you being serious?
I never knew people sub to Playboy for the articles.
Mate, I'm telling you,
I thought it was just to get the page.
Some of the best writers who have ever lived have been published in Playboy. This is absolutely true.
Why though? That seems like a waste.
Because it was a lifestyle magazine that happened to have centerfolds in it. It weren't like Fiesta, mate. You know what I mean? It's not like
I wasn't born in the 80s. I didn't have Playboy.
Ford Cabrina, it wasn't like that, Playboy's
I
always...
thought it was just straight muffler, man. I thought it was all muffler, like.
No. Some of the best writers ever of all time. Unfortunately, you know, Miller been in there. Hunter S. Thompson's been in Playboy. I'm pretty sure. Trying to think who else. You know, I want to say Burroughs, but that might not be true. But it'd be great if Burroughs was published in Playboy because he was a rampant homosexual. Well, I kind of like that idea as a subversive thing, and Burroughs being my favorite writer of all time. Well, no, actually, he's part of the trifecta: Thompson, Bukowski, and Burroughs. But anyway, so there you go. Anyway, I don't think they do boobs anymore in it. I don't think they do centerfolds. They might still do glamour shoots, but you know, there's no burgers, no boobs. So anyway, they wrote an article, mate. They're getting down with the ute, and they wrote an article about bronies. Right? Why though? Well, it is why though, because the alt-right have infiltrated bronies, Sam. Here you go. How the alt-right infiltrated an online community of animated horse lovers. Now, we talked about this enough times. I know why bronies exist. I know that. I understand a brony more than I understand a furry. A brony is a guy.
It depends if what do they cloppers? Is that the ones that actually wank to the horses? I'm pretty sure that's the term, like clopper.
Clopping, yeah. But like, so right, you see, a brony is just what you do is you adopt a culture that's completely non-masculine because you yourself can't succeed in a masculine, a masculine realm.
So it's just like a land ruled and filled with betas, so nobody is alpha. Everyone's just on the same level.
Right. What you do is, you see, I can't succeed at sports, you know, and I'm never going to walk into a room and you know, like, click my fingers like the Fonzie and women are just going to jump on my arms, right? You can't succeed in that arena. So what you do is you move to an arena that shows that, A, you're completely non-threatening to girls, because some girls like that, right? Some girls like the beaters. You adopt a culture that completely kind of subverts masculinity, which bronies do, because you're watching a cartoon that is ostensibly designed for, you know, teenage girls, and you've dedicated your life to it, you know, fandom-wise.
I think it's even younger than teenage, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. So that's how it works, right? Like it's the ultimate. You know, I didn't lose my virginity because I never lose. You know, it's the ultimate cop out, right? Of you know, failure within traditional masculinity realms, right? So anyway, there's some madness in this article. Let me just go through. Right, so here we go. I'll read you the intro and then I'll read you some of the quotes. Think My Little Pony and white supremacy don't mix.
Think again. I didn't even read it, but I bet that's what it says.
Oh, no, yeah, think again. It is think again. Classic banter. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. My Little Pony and white supremacy definitely don't mix. I mean, they just don't. Like, arguably. One is a cartoon about the power of friendship among a bunch of magical teenage
multicolored ones as well. There's like purple ones.
And white supremacy is about the false idea that white people are genetically superior to all of the races on the planet. There is no crossover there. There is no crossover there. There just isn't. Anyway. Though bronies, the adult male fans of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, have geeked out about Pegasi, dragons, and Fluttershy for years, there's a new force infiltrating the fandom. Among these bronies, there's talk of pony nationalism, avatars of horses in KKK gear, and posts of ponies with swastikas decorating their rumps. That's right. Political division has struck Equestria. In particular, a group calling themselves alt-bronies, as in alt-right bronies, have driven a wedge between themselves and the rest of the fandom, who have been calling for the alt-bronies to leave politics out of their ponies. So here's the thing. This is what we call trolling. I don't. Is anyone Anyone familiar with it? This is what we call having a troll. And these people aren't real bronies. What they're doing is they're infiltrating a group of people who are super sensitive about a particular issue, and then they're subverting it. And in doing so, they are generating what I believe they like to call lulls, right? They're doing it for the lulls, right? And these people are being a bunch of lol cows, which is people you can continually milk for lulls. You see, this is standard 4chan operation. Yeah, this is how it works. None of these people who are putting a swastika on a My Little Pony's bottom are genuine Nazis, by the way. It's a joke. And the more you get about Fluttershy being given a Hitler tash, right, the more they're going to do it. That's the banter. That's the joke, right? So anyway, I'll read you some of the quotes. Where the fuck, man? Just a wall of text. Right, here you go. Which brings us back to the whole love and tolerate thing. You may think that white nationalism is in direct conflict with what the bronies stand for. Many bronies would agree with you. Alt bronies have been banned from message boards and fan art sites, blocked by other bronies on Twitter, nightmare, and even denied volunteer positions at conferences for posting pics of Nazi ponies. This way, alt bronies say it's actually their leftist herd members who are in violation of the spirit of tolerance. In the same way that the alt-right has advocated for their hate speech being protected under free speech, the alt bronies don't care whether they're being pushed out for espousing retrograde, often harmful views. They just see it as inappropriate exclusion, period. Right? So here you go. Entry into the fandom isn't predicated on politics, and our membership isn't conditional on your approval, said an alt brony in a Twitter DM. The fandom is for everyone, and as far as I'm concerned, there is no party line to toe. I don't have to be or prove I'm a liberal, 100% LGBTQ supportive, or think Trump is literally Hitler reincarnate just to be a brony, and that is equality in the truest sense. Right now, it gets interesting because they bring up the alt furries and our friend Foxler Nightfire, right? Who they say here has come under scrutiny for wearing an armband with a black paw print in place of a swastika. So, I mean, a completely non-racist symbol then.
So a wolf then.
Yeah, just a cartoon wolf then. So. Hang on. Then there's this. Their defense is that they are in real life shit posting, which pretty means acting like a jerk as a farce, said a staffer at a convention who asked to remain anonymous. Several of these people, most of them former friends, are indeed sexist, racist, and transphobic. It's doubtful to believe some of them are just joking when they have displayed bigotry or ignorance before. And the non-alt bronies are tired of it, Sam. They're tired of people putting swastikas on their ponies. They're tired of it. They're tired of putting a KKK hood on their favorite pony. So the glue holding together everything is the fact that regardless of what your political beliefs are, under normal circumstances, you'd be deemed an outcast by either major group, says Kappa General. Brony co-founder of horsenews.net. That can't be real. I'm going to look at that. People call us freaks and masochists. Are you willing to give up on the few people who accept you for being fan of a cartoon? Is it worth it? Just because you don't like Trump doesn't mean a Democrat will like you for who you are if you are a brony. Dissension in the ranks, Sam. The alt bronies, they're picking apart. They're picking apart the brony fandom to try and recruit people into the way of white nationalism.
They're recruiting.
That's how they do it, mate. So, and here's the last sentence of the article. What will win? Love, tolerance, and an influx of new diverse bronies, or a wave of white nationalist pony lovers?
What the fuck? Horsenews.net is real, by the way.
Can't be real.
Look at it, man. There's some shit website. Yeah, I better be careful. This is probably just going to be some horse gash or something. No, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
You're on a list. You're on a list. So there you go. Alt-right bronies now, mate. Nowhere is safe. Right, let's get this fucking Data Daddy nonsense out of the fucking way. Data Daddy. Have you seen it, Sam? Sorry, Dream Daddy.
Dream Daddy. Yeah, I've seen this
Data Daddy
drivel
website that I'm registered to. So yeah, Dream Daddy, sorry. So basically Dream Daddy is a game. I haven't played it because it's like one of those interactive fiction things.
It's like a dating game.
I did play what's one with pigeons?
One.
Her TOEFL boyfriend or whatever it's
something
called.
Like that.
I played that one. And that's all right. Yeah, it's all right, mate. If you want to fuck pigeons.
If you're a pigeon fucker, it's ideal.
Yeah, you're in the right place. Anyway, so Dream Daddy came out, and from what I can tell, basically there's a bunch of dads in there of all different archetypes, they all cover different, backgrounds and races and ethnicities and creeds, and I think one of them is a female to male transgendered person, and there's a guy who looks like I'd look like if I was ginger, which all the gay guys love. Don't even know his name, but Sky Williams hasn't shut up about him. Sky Williams being my go-to barometer for what's cool with the gays.
He's down with the gays.
Down with the gays. So anyway, so you play through and you can date a dad. And, obviously it's not done in any way which is like, it's heteronormative or whatever, you can just date the dads, gay, straight, bi, trans. So it's up to you, right? So it's proven a particularly popular game. The creators enjoyed, lots of coverage. And in this field, to be fair, by all accounts, reading all the reviews, Dream Daddy seems to be, particularly well made. A lot of interactive fiction type games are garbage and lazy. And this one doesn't seem to fit that. There's some interesting, sub games and this sort of thing. So anyway, because it's popular, right? You get these things called fan arts, right? People go out and they make fan art of things that are popular, kind of like how we have bronies and shit like that. Okay? People draw shit. I mean, that's why you can't click on horsenews.net without fear of gash being there. Because, people just draw shit. League of Legends, they make comics of it. I've seen Braum, the big bald dude with the mustache but with a heart of gold who looks after all the poros. I've seen him doing some things you wouldn't believe. Right?
The poros.
And trust me, he
loves those fucking poros.
he might be gentle, mate, when it comes to raising them out, raising a poro out of the wild. He weren't gentle to this bloke. He damn near broke his back. So, just saying, dude. So people do stuff. They draw things. It's fan art, right? It is what it says. It's a fan of a product goes out and they draw things and put it out there for the fandom to enjoy. It's creative expression. You take an artist's idea and you do something with it. So here's what the men look like, right? Here's all the men in Dream Daddies. You can bring this up if you want, Sam, so people can have a look. And, you can see what I'm talking about, right? See all the different daddies? I can tell straight away which one you'd want to fuck.
Well, hang on, I don't know yet. Right, go on, guess now.
Right, okay, so there's two for you. And I'm thinking the guy on the far left with the leather jacket and the whiskey in his hand.
He's too much for me.
Right. Or fucking tie jumper over the shoulders. Just tear him up.
No.
Neither?
The Asian guy. He's fit as fuck, mate.
Oh, what, the one with the bow tie?
No, the one with the baby, mate.
Baby. Ah, right. Yeah, see, I didn't know what kind of baby.
Mate. He looks fit.
Yeah. Is he what the kids call peng? Nah, he's not thick though, is he? Thick's on the end. So
he's pretty thick.
I see. I don't know. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. I can't. I'd have to get with a beta me. It wouldn't work otherwise. I couldn't tear up another big guy. So it would have to be either the guy with
the vampire.
Yeah, it would either have to be the guy who is dressed like an 1800s vampire. I just realised that. Maybe not him. He has got long hair though. Or it would have to be the guy in the middle.
Yeah, he looks like he'd take a knob.
So I'm just saying, right? Like that's where I'm at. So you know, if there's any people out there watching, they want to know what I do. That's it, obviously. So anyway, so there was this artist called Onips, and what Onips did was they took she took all of the original Dream Daddies and imagined them as women, right? So I've got the image of that for you here. So you can have a look. You can see she's done a pretty good job, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks good.
Yeah, you know, so you can see all the ethnicities have remained accurate. You know, hairstyles accurate, clothing accurate. You know, that's pretty good, I think. Like, you've done a good job there. Well, anyway, she put it out. And it should just be a bit of, a bit of fun, bit of fan art, right? But no, doesn't work like that. So I'm going to summarize the criticism that the artist got. And I mean, when I say criticism is like, yeah, I don't like that. I would have done it this way. This isn't criticism. This was frothing hysteria and hate.
Seething over nothing.
Right? And I'll show you some pictures of the tweets, but I'll give you a summary. So first of all, the female version of Brian, that's the big bear, isn't realistic because she has big thighs, not a big belly. So why wouldn't you put a fat woman in there? Now let's be clear, she's overweight there, as is Brian. You know?
Yeah, because you've got to compare him to the rest of the characters, isn't you? With skinny all the rest of the waist are.
Yeah, but not only that. Like, I mean, you know, there is biology at play as well. You know, you've got some big old mammaries storing shit. You got big thighs. You know, guys don't have them unless you're eating that estrogen bread, right? So anyway, criticism that all the women are younger than the male counterparts and indeed show off more skin, so it's sexist. I mean, again, last time I checked, it's not, men don't wear crop tops. I don't know. I've never wore one. Apart from that time I went to a Pride festival.
Right? Said that Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. God, those poppers were good.
Let's go to the lab and let's see what's on the slab. Right? Then there was criticism that the women aren't as muscular.
What a surprise. Who would have known?
Why can't women be muscular? Well, I mean, again, but biology and science, women aren't designed to have the same type of muscle mass as men. That's, you know, God knows how many years.
Are you trying to tell me science?
I know, I've fucked up, haven't I? I've already fucked up by saying that. Then there was criticism that all the women in it are kind of like designed in a way to be appealing to straight men. I don't even know how you determine that.
Mean?
Yeah, I don't even know.
I didn't know lesbians and straight men like different things. I thought, wasn't it just universal?
Well, I don't know. I don't get off to lesbian porn.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I think we can safely say we do like different things.
No, but I mean,
but yeah, but
and attractive is attractive no matter what.
Yeah, and we've all got personal taste. I don't think it's anything necessarily to do with, you know, sexuality or whatever. So yeah, so there's that. But then this is the big one. So Damien is the vampire-looking motherfucker. Right. But Damien is a trans man. That's the woman to woman to male transgender, I think. Right? Now, because they imagined a woman to male transgender as a woman, this is a problem. Because apparently what you've done there is you have been hugely disrespectful and offensive to trans people. I mean, it's transphobic, right?
Why though?
Well, mate, I don't know. I can't answer these questions.
Isn't this sticking to the rule? I don't get it. They identified as a man in the game, and you're swapping all the genders. Shouldn't they now be a woman?
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing to say that that couldn't be a male to female transgender. If
Exactly. That's what I thought. That's the idea.
No, well, the point is you took somebody who is, according to the fandom, according to the law, if you want, a female to male transgender, and you put them back as a female. So this is evil. You're diminishing trans people. You're saying they shouldn't exist. You're saying you want to kill them. I mean, this is the level of hysteria that came out as a result of this. Hang on, I'll get to these tweets now. So let me just see if I can find you some of the belters, because there was thousands of tweets, Sam. Thousands attacking this artist for drawing this picture. And this is another thing that I keep trying to tell you. This is the fucking sad reality about the left now. They want to, they want to destroy art. Any art they don't like, any art that doesn't fit their view. It's history too. They want to revise history. We're going to get to that with Dunkirk before we end the show. But here you go. So this is a screenshot of some of the tweets compiled by Nick Monroe, a games journalist. You can see here, the developers of the game had to wade in and say, we were recently informed that a fan artist has been receiving death threats and hate messages. Our team does not support this. Dream Daddy was built around positivity and support. Disagreements will happen, but we ask you remain civil and constructive. So you can see here, I understand that the death threats are way too far. The only problem is the fact they drew Damien, a trans male, into a female, which is wrong on many levels and makes a lot of trans people feel extremely uncomfortable and be represented incorrectly. In general, it's transphobic. I mean, it absolutely...
I don't even get what the argument is.
I drew a fictional character another way, fictionally. That's transphobia now. Of course, the death threats are wrong, but understand why there's people out here being negative to the fan artists. So in other words, we refuse to condemn the death threats. I'll read you some of the other. That transphobia, though, seriously, laughing my ass off. Fuck you. If you think it's even moderately appropriate to gender bend a game that features trans main characters. The only reason you'd make this is to appeal to straight men over a game made for, you guessed it, bi and gay men. Disgusting. Glad you're proud of your fat phobia. You're the real MVP. Thanks for considering fatness of women to just be boobs and ass. Oh my God. The fact that you were calling this a gender bend shows just how out of touch with reality you are. Cringe. That person needs help. I love them all, but I feel like portraying Damien as female when Damien is canonically a trans male is a no-no. I like the game, but I think you're losing lots of trans customers if you don't apologize for this piece. They didn't even... Yeah.
They didn't make it, like...
Except you did something shitty instead of giving a shotty, meaning shoddy, ass apology. It's great, isn't it, how these people are all fucking barely literate as well. Like, far be it from me to point out that maybe they've got some sort of deficiency in their mind. But isn't it weird? Like, I see the same misspellings of words that should just be like core English. Shotty is slang for a shotgun. Trust me, I feel like picking one up when I fucking read these tweets to kill myself, not to kill anybody else. That's not a threat. I'll calm down. But, ridiculous. Instead of giving a shotty-ass apology and ignoring every single criticism of your work, Literally, you have so many people supporting you despite how tremendously you fucked up. You really need to self-evaluate. Like you should be apologizing again and again to all the people you've hurt with your transphobia and fat phobia. Someone just went in. You don't know how bras work, do you? Lol, hi. It doesn't matter if you made Damien a trans woman in this. It's nasty and transphobic and just not okay.
But why?
No one can answer. I'm worried about even saying this, but it's a little bad that you included Damien in this. Just feels short-sighted. Jesus fucking Christ. This is so sleazy and gross. The dads are cute, handsome, sexy, but aren't overly sexualized like this hot mess. Ah, wow. Spelt wrong. They even spelt wow wrong. Making a trans guy a woman? Progressive. Maybe the backlash you received will have you thinking more about how you represent women, their body types in your drawings. People are so sensitive these days. Sorry, I just hate it that the second I get representation, an ugly fuck like you ruins it.
Sound reasonable as fuck.
Okay, but Damien is a trans man, so this seems kind of a bad thing to do to him. Did you seriously gender bend a trans character? Crime. Did you gender bend a trans character?
Can't believe that they want to be left. Their idea of a better way to not be transphobic is to leave them out of the picture. I don't get how that's real.
Right. Laughing my ass off forever. She fucking blocked me. Cry, bitch, cry. Right. These are the people that get offended by this kind of thing, by the way. This is a window into the mental illness of the average progressive. So also as well, there's some other bits here. I mean, because the artist said she was leaving Twitter entirely because the harassment was too much, because it was permanent. Here you go. You'll see some more here. This is one of the people who were featured in the earlier set of tweets. I'm so glad Onips is going to get 0 repercussions for all the shit they did because Dream Daddy defended them. I literally hate anyone who associates with Onips now.
Mentally ill.
There's a big difference between harassing the artist for their fan art and criticizing someone who is transphobic, fatphobic, and racist. Wow, people who claim to advocate for social justice are seriously harassing this poor artist. That was what they were replying to. So that's reasonable, isn't it? 0 repercussions. This is what they all want. They want repercussions. You see, the mental illness they're locked into is something that's been augmented by social media and reality television. They think their life is a show.
Yeah,
and they
just
can
trying
vote
to live their shitty movie.
Yeah, they can just vote people out they don't like by screaming and howling into the abyss about it. And unfortunately, people do support this. People come out and they go, this person is right to be offended. Well, you're not. It's art. If you don't like it, here's what you do. You don't look at it. You don't patronize the artist, and you go on with your day. That's it. That's all there is. It's art. That's all there is to it. There's nothing else. There's no other debate. I don't like the Mona Lisa. Is this reasonable behavior? Of course it isn't. You're a fucking retard. I mean, like, you shouldn't be allowed outside. You shouldn't be allowed outside if that's how you behave. Like, seriously, you're not fit to be part of society. Honestly. That's got to be said at this point. If that's how you behave, if that's how you respond and react to a piece of art that you don't like, then, yeah, sorry, you need to be in a home. End. Right, but you can see here there's some other people trying to frame it a bit more reasonably. You can see here there was this one, someone saying if trans people were offended by it, they get to decide whether it's transphobic or not. Their views are more important than her feelings. So in other words, it's perfectly acceptable to harass people if you are offended by something. It is fine to say that, it's okay to kill them. And there's been some other stuff that's been deleted. A few more tweets said, wrong on many levels. Makes a lot of trans people feel extremely uncomfortable. to be represented incorrectly. In general, this is transphobic. And of course the death threats are wrong, but you must understand why there's people out there being negative. Anyway, so Onips tweeted this out. I'll just show you. This is where it leads to. So she's like, yeah, I'm probably going to quit social media. I mean, that didn't really stop anybody. You'll see Sky Williams right at the top. Sky Williams, a big fan of, this Dream Daddy game. Well, just the Dream Daddy game in general. He really jumped in. I'm not. Yeah, no, big fan. But look, let's just hang on. I've got to find you this. There was a fucking absolute balmy one. It just blew my fucking mind. Here it is. So this is a tweet collected by Lilith Lovett, and you can see just how far they were going. They found photos of this artist, right, and then posted them. Oh, Nips, you musty and ugly as hell. Shut the fuck up.
Reasonable.
And look, Onips locked their account because people were hopping on their ass so hard, I'm laughing. Spelt wrong, of course. Cisgender bends can die. Thank you.
So?
Right? Yeah. Onips said, I'm tired of apologizing when I did nothing wrong. I drew it the way I did because I liked it, and artistically I'm proud of the piece. That's it. Thumbs up. Wow. Imagine being this much of a dumbass. Can't relate. And again, that's one of the tweets that we already saw after that. So this person is just being like, it's mad, isn't it? Like, here's what you've done. You have drawn cartoon characters that don't exist, the opposite, the reverse gender of what they are in the game. And that's what this is prompted. That's where this leads to. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't end there, actually. Because then people started to discuss whether or not she was white, you see, because it turned out that maybe she wasn't, and all of a sudden there was a little bit of panic among these people. How do we justify that? Because as long as you're white, it's fine, it's fair game. But as soon as it was introduced that she might not be, panic set in. Oh my God, what if we have to pause and reflect and realize our behavior is bad? Well, here we go. This was compiled by our good friend Eomals Chong. You can see the tweets here. I don't know why people are even, you shouldn't harass Onips online. She's another racist white woman who hates trans people. I don't know what's wanted here. You can't be racist on the internet, defend your racism, and then call it harassment. I think that's meant to be, I don't care how good your art is. And then somebody replies, I was fooled at first, but apparently she's from the Dominican Republic and just light-skinned. So, now we got to change things. Doesn't justify the transphobic gender bends, though. You do know Republica Dominicana has a lot of white population. Latino is not the same as non-white. I did not. But it was what I heard her identify was from a friend who's friends with a friend of hers.
Fucking hell.
That's how far they're investigating this shit.
Friend.
People of color are capable of being light-skinned. I know. I'm a pale person of color. Latinx still doesn't mean person of color. Race also is a social construct.
By the way, did I tell you, race is a social construct?
And it works different in other countries. Mestizo countries like most Latinx. Oh, absolutely. I know about white passing privilege. That doesn't excuse potentially erasing her actual identity. White passing isn't the term at all. That doesn't exist in our countries, but whatever. So now they're having an argument over how you can label someone white, whether they're white or not. These people are sick. It's when someone's parents can be mixed or have white genes in the family that pass on to a person of color whose family heritage dictates that they are part of that race culture, but pass as white due to taking on the pale genes. So they literally had a discussion about whether or not it was okay to continue harassing her based on her race.
Mentally ill.
Now, this is where it gets sad. Unbelievably sad. It could have just ended there. She could have just, said, I'm disconnected from the internet for a few days. She didn't know. She decided she wanted it all to stop, so she apologized. Which
I can't even blame her. When you're just getting wrecked constantly, I can just appreciate it. It's like, you know what, fuck this. Get me out of this hellhole.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But again, the idea of like fucking having to make an apology, like you justify all of their shit now, you justify all of their bullshit. Like by apologizing, sure, it makes things better for you. But all of those fucking mentally ill degenerates now go and attack the next person who draws a little picture they don't like. Let's be clear who you compare these people to. You compare these to the fucking extremist Islamists that called for death because someone drew a picture of an imaginary bearded man in the sky. That is the level of hysteria we're dealing with here. These people, as soon as you start saying, I want to kill someone because they drew a cartoon I don't like, you're scum. You have lost all sense of reality, and society should not entertain you one iota. You should be locked away so the rest of us can get on with trying to evolve and further the species. That's it. You see, it's not a free speech issue, right? Again, this is where I'll agree with it. Sure, you've definitely got the right to say whatever the fuck you want. Once you start assembling into a mob and saying we are going to storm a building and behead somebody because they've drawn a picture we don't like, yeah, you know what? I'm all for getting out the water cannons and the tear gas and the guns, and let's just put you away. Let's just get rid of you, because I don't want to share a society with people that blinkered about why free speech is important. I don't want people who are going to kill somebody for writing a book they don't like, or drawing a picture they don't like, or painting a painting they don't like, or espousing an idea they don't like, exploring doing a philosophical thought exercise they don't like. Yeah, I don't want to share a society with those people. Sorry, I don't. I guess that makes me intolerant. But yeah, these people are fucked. All right. Anyway, she did do an apology, which I'll read to you now. It says, with the amount of personal attacks I've been receiving everywhere, Pride says I shouldn't have to apologize. But you know what? To those of you who are relentlessly harassing me, my man and my comic, fuck you. Today I realize those people don't represent the entirety of you who disagree with my actions. So to those of you who took the time to calmly express your pain or qualms with what I've said or done, I am sorry to you and your communities. Sometimes I just wish the internet could see through to intention and context before vehemently condemning. I love and respect all of you, and I hope you never feel like I don't again. So there you go. Will it end there? Probably not. It's fucking crazy. See Mo TV. Richard talk shit, get hit. What's Mo TV doing there? This isn't about esports, Mo. This isn't about case openings. Why are you in my chat?
Coming to get woke, man.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm glad you're woke, Mo. Always knew it. So there you have it. So that was the Dream Daddy nonsense. Now, while we're talking about nonsense, there is one story that dominates 2017 for me in terms of nonsense, and it's Evergreen. What's been going on at the ultra-progressive Evergreen University. Now, let's be clear here. For those that haven't been following this story, this is huge. The ramifications reach to higher education all across America. And what Evergreen basically was, in a nutshell, was a Jewish professor was told he had to leave campus because he was white, and they were having a no whites day on campus. This was a subversion of earlier iterations of what they called a day of absence, which is where professors turned a blind eye to students of color no longer attending lectures or attending the campus. And indeed, faculty could engage in it as well. It was based on a very progressive and popular play from way back when, which postulated the question, where would we be if all the people of color around us just didn't turn up for a day, right? Now, he didn't want to go. He didn't want to be excluded from his job, his campus, because of the color of his skin. And the situation escalated, leading to 50 or 60 social justice students kidnapping the faculty, holding them hostage, and demanding that they completely rewrite the rules to support what they think the campus should be doing. Now, the head of the university has advocated for this, advocated for safe spaces, advocated for all this nonsense. And basically where we're at right now is that members of Congress have looked at whether or not this state-funded university, which is funded to the tune of, I can't even remember the figure. What was it? Was it like 60 million or 20 million? I forget. Yeah. But tens of millions of dollars of public money, whether or not that should be frozen until they can get their act together, or maybe indefinitely. Now, while all that's been going on, just give you a summary of what you might have missed. Well, it turns out that there's been a board meeting. All of the executives and trustees of the Evergreen University had a meeting where people could confront them about the things that were going on their campus. Now, I'm going to show you the first video, because you might wonder, you might say to yourself, hey, Richard, how can faculty be kidnapped? How can that occur? Because there's police. It's a university. Good point. Actually, one of the people who were assaulted by this mob were indeed a police officer. The police were prevented gaining access to the college buildings. They weren't allowed in, as in they put a human barrier between them and where Brett Weinstein was. The police couldn't check if he was safe. But the police had been told that they were to stand down and not get involved. Not only that, they had been disarmed. The police on Evergreen are not allowed guns. They're police. It's America. They should be carrying firearms. So one of the things that came up, I got a few videos here. One of the things that came up was who disarmed them. So I want you to go to 25 seconds in this video and just play it out. Who would disarm the police chief of Evergreen? Why would that be considered making the students safer? Well, you may remember a certain cuckold called George. So just watch this video, and you'll be aghast and agog by what you see.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Rifles, but I'm just
it concerns me greatly. We should have rifles, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. So whose decision was it not to have rifles? It wasn't you. It wasn't your department.
It's not me.
Do you know whose decision that was?
The college administration.
Can I ask President Bridges something?
Please.
You want to respond to that, President?
Well, there's been this issue has been with Evergreen for many years. I'm here. This is my 19th month, I think. We're looking at that issue, and there are many needs that our units, that our police services units has. Certainly, they are seeking this.
So that is George Bridges, in a roundabout way, admitting that he interfered with police procedure, ignored the recommendations and demands of the police chief on Evergreen that they needed weapons, that they should have rifles, and then trying to weasel his way out of it. And saying, no, I didn't, the police have made this demand and we're certainly looking into it. Now, at a later meeting, right, just to give you an idea of how systemic the extent of the problem was, a student got up and delivered a speech about what it's like as a white student on Evergreen. And it's horrifying, and it's everything you'd expect, that there is this hardcore group of crazies where basically if you're white, they racially oppress you, they racially abuse you, they take away your rights to speech, they physically intimidate you. When we did our first investigations into Evergreen, I reached out and spoke to some students there through the Evergreen subreddit, and they all said the same thing, that they don't get involved and shut this small group down because they don't want to have their, cars keyed. They don't want to be beaten up. They don't want to have their property destroyed. They just want to get good grades and get the fuck out. That is the, kind of well, it is. It's a cloud of fear and terror just hovering over the campus. So here's one student talking to the board of trustees about her experiences as a white student in Evergreen. When you're ready, Sam.
3, 2, 1, go.
My name is Mackenzie, and I'm a current student at Evergreen. My biggest concerns with directly what's been happening this past spring are the lack of viewpoint diversity, and which is one of my biggest concerns, that if you have offer any sort of alternative viewpoint, which I do have, and you're kind of the enemy. I don't agree with the behavior that has been shown on the campus, and unlike what Anne Fischel has said, I think it is important to focus on the way this was handled. I totally understand that people are upset, but I don't think this was handled in the right way at all, and this behavior has actually been encouraged, and because of this, I feel like people are becoming more violent, and the campus is becoming more of an unsafe place. I have been to several meetings to speak. I've been told several times that I'm not allowed to speak because I'm white. This school seems to focus so much on race that is actually becoming more racist in a different sort of way. And because I say that, because I choose not to focus on race, I have actually been labeled a racist and a white supremacist. And if anyone took the time to actually know me, it's not true at all. But that's what I've been labeled as.
I mean, you can hear the fear in her voice. She's talking to the Board of Trustees about a systemic problem where, because she's white and she says, look, you know, can we just have some differences of opinion all up in this bitch? Can we just get some fucking, you know, something that just moves away from the insanity of the progressive left? She's labeled a white supremacist. I mean, this is the madness inherent on campuses across America. Imagine... And I'll tell you this. I will say this. Like, I'm certainly not legally qualified, but I know enough about the legal system to say if you pay for an education, which, believe me, we all do in one way or another, if you pay for an education and a group of students are impeding your ability to get that education that you are paying for, whether it is through intimidation, hostility, destroying of materials, taking over lessons, overly utilizing lecturers' times and resources, whatever the arguments are, whatever is going on that is stopping you fairly and equally obtaining a higher education, you have got to lawyer up and sue the living shit out of the university that does not enforce their code of conduct. Their refusal to enforce their code of conduct is impeding, holding back your ability to get an education. There is a claim there. You shouldn't have to go through that. You shouldn't have to tolerate that. It's university. It's for adults, young adults, to get an education so they can go out into the world and contribute something to society. Anybody impeding that is a cunt. You must sue. It is the only way that these universities are going to fucking start seeing sense when they are bankrupt and destitute and cannot afford to employ Beyonce studies professors, gender studies professors, these garbage degrees that do nothing, right? Like, you know, and they're paying money for fucking, you know, faculty that literally believe the same nonsense that the students do. And they endorse it and they encourage this bad behavior. They rabble rouse. Enough's enough. Lawyer the fuck up and sue. Sue them into oblivion. Now, at that same meeting, Brett Weinstein stood up. He was allotted 5 minutes to talk to the Board of Trustees. It was the first time he had confronted the Board of Trustees since all of this nonsense originally occurred. Just listen to what he's got to say. I mean, here's the thing. Understand, by the way, again, if you haven't followed this case, understand who Brett Weinstein is. Brett Weinstein is a progressive left professor. Brett Weinstein is a Jewish man. Brett Weinstein is somebody who believes in things like white privilege, who fully supports the progressive left ideology, yet found himself still a victim because he wasn't progressive enough. He didn't want to be excluded from campus on the basis of the color of his skin. He said no, and this is what they've tried to portray him as. Listen to what he says and understand that this comes from, you know, even though he's directly involved, this isn't some conservative group. This isn't me, you know, as a Trump supporter, blah, blah, even though I'm not, right? This is a member of the progressive left talking about how ridiculous the progressive left has been behaving on the Evergreen campus.
3, 2, 1, go.
Do you know that the college descended into literal anarchy? It was under the control of protesters. There were assaults, there were batteries, people were kidnapped and imprisoned, others were hunted. Lawless bands roamed the campus unimpeded. Students that held different opinions were, by the protesters' own analysis, stalked, harassed, and doxxed.
Brett Weinstein.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm a faculty member here. Let me say, I think you probably all know that I've tried to reach the board privately so that I could discuss what I believe I know has taken place on this campus with you, not in a public forum, and that has come to nothing, so I find myself talking to you here. I also know people who know you all personally, and I'm told and I believe that you are all well-intentioned and that you have the best interests of the institution at heart. And the problem is that knowing that about you and knowing what I do about what's taken place here, I'm forced to conclude that you must not fully understand what has happened, because if you did fully understand what has happened, you would be forced to act in the interest of Evergreen. So in that light, I want to just simply pose some questions to you about things that I think you need to know that perhaps you don't. Do you know that the college descended into literal anarchy, and that for days the campus was not under the control of the state? It was under the control of protesters. That there were assaults, there were batteries, there was pressure not to report crimes to the police. People were, by the legal definition, I believe, kidnapped and imprisoned. That included faculty members and administrators. Others were hunted on the campus. That lawless bands roamed the campus unimpeded. Police were physically and intentionally blocked by protesters. Police were cruelly, systematically, and personally taunted. They were humiliated and forced to stand down by the president. Students that held different opinions were, by the protesters' own analysis, stalked, harassed, and doxxed, meaning that their names, pictures, and addresses and phone numbers were distributed online. Do you know that concessions made under intimidation and threat during the protest are now being enacted by the college? That includes mandatory bias training for all faculty. This has come about by an agreement between the faculty union, the administration, and protesters. It was not discussed with the faculty. The student code of conduct is now being revised in response to demands by those in violation of that very code. Do you know that although the code of conduct is supposed to protect all of us, that Dr. Bridges decided to selectively suspend it, giving some students license to threaten others based on their participation in the protest? Do you know that the Equity Council, only 25% of which are active faculty, exceeded its charge by proposing a revamp of our college hiring process, that it sought to force the college's acceptance of its sweeping proposal, that it constructed the proposal to limit faculty autonomy, this is by the admission of members of the council within a faculty meeting, and that it wished to avoid discussion with the faculty. That was also admitted in a faculty meeting by a member of the council. Do you know that we as a faculty never discussed the equity proposal? That was despite the clear hazard it poses to the college's ability to remain solvent. Do you know that the equity proposal is predicated on a quantitative analysis that finds equity gaps, but the analysis cannot withstand scrutiny and would likely be considered fraud if presented in a scientific paper? That it was challenged internally and that critics were silenced? Did you say my time is up? That the flawed analysis makes the remedies that have been proposed effectively permanent, and that the council knows this, one of its chairs having said during the rollout that equity at Evergreen cannot be achieved. It must be perpetually pursued. I guess my time's up. Sure.
So The Board of Trustees completely unaware about all of that. The key thing there is that there was this equity proposal, which they know is completely unenforceable, untenable, unachievable, yet they're going to go for it anyway. And it comes at the expense of other students. Now, again, understand the average student at Evergreen probably doesn't want to get involved in any of this fucking mess. There is a hardcore militant group that brought that campus into absolute fucking anarchy, and there was no apparatus in place to stop it happening. The police have been disarmed. The head of the university is out there walking around with his hands in his pockets and going to the toilet when the student body say that he can. It is a joke what has happened at Evergreen. The place must be absolutely shut down, at least temporarily, while they remove everybody who played any part in it, be it student or faculty. That is the only way you cut that cancer all the way out. Now, good news on the fucking horizon. It turns out that Brett Weinstein has filed a lawsuit, as indeed I would if I were him. I'd say he took his time in doing it, but glad it's finally happened. And you will see, Sam, it's a pretty sizable one. This is no fucking small potatoes. $3.8 million claim against the Evergreen State College. He says that they fostered a racially hostile work and retaliatory environment by encouraging the student protests that forced Weinstein to flee the campus for his own safety. And he also goes on to detail, how he was subject to what is tantamount to racial discrimination. He went on Tucker Carlson to explain the situation. And you can see here that he showed email exchanges that happened after he went on Tucker Carlson. Right? Just have a look at this. So, as Lucia reports in her profile, some classes left, but most shaped alternate activities on campus. There was no forced exodus. Brett, you reported a mob controls campus and offered no corrective to Carlson's theatrics. What is most disconcerting to witness is that your letter to Rashida is clearly displayed, putting our college out front in a precarious position. That, of course, is the original letter that he wrote saying, look, I've got no problem with a day of absence, but I am not going to be excluded from campus because of the color of my skin. That letter was actually labeled, he said they read it and said he was being racist by refusing to go. Which again, blows my mind. Rashida has 4 years worked with great dedication for and with students. She deserves much, much better than this disrespectful, dismissive, and mocking presentation. Brett, I don't know what you were thinking. By describing yourself to Tucker Carlson as a deeply progressive person, you provided him ammunition for the claim that the crazies are even going after progressives.
But he is progressive, though.
And what do you want him to say? You want him to lie about his personal politics on national TV to cover up how fucking insane the campus has got? By connecting with Fox and Carlson, by situating your students at Governor Inslee's office to report on the campus climate, I believe you've escalated the hazards facing Evergreen. I'm not enraptured with Evergreen. It is flawed, and since its inception as an alternative educational place, it has had to struggle to own up to its issues. But it is a learning place worthy of and needing solid critique. By going to Fox, you've dragged the campus into the zone of alt-right peep shows. You've offered up red meat to right-wingers in the Northwest who have long wanted to close or impair the campus. So you can read some of the other letters there. I won't bore you all with it. We've gone on quite enough. But a $3.8 million lawsuit. Now, let's be real. Brett Weinstein will not get the $3.8 million. What'll happen is they'll settle. But they will have to settle. And if it's half, that's a huge financial blow to this rotten, cancerous institution. And hopefully it would be enough to impact on them so much that they would have to have a serious kind of financial reevaluation, or even better, hopefully they would just have to close down entirely, making the debate in Congress moot. So That's Evergreen. Just so you know, by the way, if you think Evergreen is a one-off, we've talked a lot about how mad higher education has become on this show. If you think Evergreen is a one-off, you're wrong. Here's another story just from, a few days ago. In fact, actually, is this one of the ones that came out? Yeah, this is, 2-3 days ago. And this is a professor saying a cadre of militant LGBT students drove them to resign. So to give you the kind of talking point, this is Michael Bonesteel said he resigned from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago after a small cadre of militant LGBT students created an authoritarian agenda and a toxic environment that led to him losing his health insurance. He said several transgender students took issue with materials he presented in class, as well as lack of trigger warnings, and filed complaints against him for harassment for presenting his lessons. The school allegedly responded by cutting back his course load to the point he no longer qualified for health insurance benefits and forced him to get rid of all controversial subject matter in the remaining course, which his contract expressly said he could choose. So what happened? Well, basically, the first complaint arose during a discussion of Henry Darger, a Chicago artist known for depicting representations of young girls with penises. And again, think of that what you might. It's art, right? But Bonesteel happens to have studied that work extensively. It's considered a subversion on gender in an artistic medium. And Bonesteel recounted presenting a theory which he claims is considered plausible by many scholars relate to the artist having suffered possible childhood sexual abuse. Now, according to Bonesteel, a transgender student objected to that discussion, saying there was no proof Darger was sexually abused, and therefore the theory shouldn't be proposed even in a class that discusses artistic theory. That student then went and filed a complaint with the administration, meaning Bonesteel had to agree to have meetings with a diversity counselor and post an apology on the school's website to all affected students. Then 2 days later, after that first incident, a different student launched into what was described as a long diatribe about his perceived anti-Semitic attitudes, because the author of a book the class had been assigned to read called Men of Tomorrow, Geeks, Gangsters, and the Birth of the Comic Book by Gerard Jones. The exchange heated up, and basically the policies of the school were attacked, saying that they were hostile towards minorities and transgendered students, and accusations of racism and homophobia were leveled at Bonesteel because he failed to use trigger warnings in class before discussing the contents of that book. That student, again, made another complaint. This is 2 days after he'd already apologized for a previous complaint. This then led to a letter from the dean, which informed Bonesteel that the school had determined that it is more likely than not that his conduct in relation to the student constituted harassment based on gender identity, which is in violation of the school's policy against discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. Several months passed, and this incident would come back to haunt Bonesteel because another student filed a complaint saying they were troubled by the incident from back then. So this incident, which had been dealt with, resolved, finished, finalized, finito kaput. Months later, another student heard about it, filed a complaint saying that incident troubled them. This then led the university to say he would no longer be allowed to teach courses about comic books in the future. The whole comic book course was scrapped. And as a result of the scrapping of those courses, he no longer taught enough hours to qualify for the health insurance benefits that his degree came with. Now, he said he could have lived with making changes to the courses, but he didn't view anything he taught in his lessons to be in any way discriminatory. and that all the work was considered to be well-sourced, or everything he presented was well-sourced, and indeed standard to other courses he'd seen around the country. As a result, he decided that he had to resign, and he is now looking at his legal remedies based on what he calls abuse of Title IX protections, explaining it is his contention that he has been unfairly vilified and demonized by a small cadre of militant students with an authoritarian agenda, and the university itself refused to issue comment. This is real. This is happening every day on campuses. If you teach art we don't like, if you discuss theories we don't like, ideas we don't like, we will complain and the student body will back us. This is university now. There's nowhere to hide. If you bring speakers we don't like, we'll attack them and nothing will happen. If you bring a speaker that we really don't like, we'll take to the streets and we will burn the building to the ground and we will destroy public property, and the police will be instructed not to do anything to us. This is higher education in America right now. And as I said, it's spreading. It is spreading. And it's spreading to the UK because that's how we roll. Here's a story from the Evening Standard about Cambridge, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. What could be going on there? Well, the head of the Cambridge University Equality Group praised recent protesters over the death of Rashan Charles, saying they were good, that they were perfectly fine to attack police and attack people on the basis that, here is the tweet, all white people are racist. White middle class, white working class, white men, white women, white gays, white children, they can all get it.
So, get it.
Yeah, that is the head of Cambridge University's Equality Group. Doesn't sound like a message of equality to me. People replied saying, watching the middle-class white people despair over black people protesting in colonized Dalston is absolutely delicious. Someone else replied saying, you're doing amazing, sweetie, in regard to his tweets, encouraging and stirring up attacks towards the police over the death of a young black man in police custody, the information of which is still yet to come out. It's fine. This is all fine, Sam. This is normal. This is, just deal with it. This is what higher education looks like. I've told people there's no point in going to university anymore. You're better off just going out into the real world and getting a job while you still can, a normal job, one that will not insist you have to jump through all of these fucking mentally ill hoops to prove that you have the right personal politics to be worthy of existing in society. That's coming. Work 5 years from now. If it continues the way it's continuing, there will be a questionnaire when you go for a job interview. And the job interview will not be about your competency. It'll be about your background, as in what minority group you most identify with. And it'll be about your personal politics, whether or not your politics are suitable to represent a diverse corporation such as Omnicorp or whatever one you're going for. That is going to be the focus of job interviews. Anybody who has done anything dissenting or rejecting of these progressive crazies, it'll be monitored, it'll be stored, and you will not be allowed to be employed for any of these big companies. You will be marginalized based on your personal beliefs. That's coming. I didn't think it was going to be viable for, certain jobs to be able to scan your social media and not hire you judged on things you said on Facebook. This happens all the time and nobody blinks an eye. People even say, well, you shouldn't have smoked that joint and let someone take a photo of you and posted it to your Facebook 6 years ago if you wanted to work 6 years later. People believe it. People just bow down, bend over. Hey, it don't affect me. It's not ruining my life. So it's perfectly fine. And again, we are just going down these narrow fucking channels and we are welcoming oblivion. We are welcoming the discrimination of our new progressive overlords. We're absolutely into it. We completely support this idea that your personal beliefs should be scrutinized and castigated and punished. This is fine. This is all normal. If you want an education, be progressive. If you want a job, be progressive. That's it. So I guess we can end the show there, Sam, on that cheery note. We've covered all the big stories, I think. We've got a few little left over, but it's 1:30 in the AM where you are, and I'm sure after a hard-working weekend, you're keen to get to bed. So there we have it. So look, thanks to everybody who subscribed, donated, and of course tuned in. We're hovering. We're 32 subs away from giving away the next T-shirt. I believe we've handed out the T-shirts to the previous people who hit the sub goals. Hopefully next show we're going to hit that landmark. And is there anything else that people need to know about, Sam?
No, that's it, mate. Make sure you're subbed on YouTube, although mysteriously the bug seems to be fixed, I believe.
Yeah, I ain't jinxing it. I'm still getting people messaging me, but certainly what seems to have happened is there was an incident where YouTube went down, everyone went to 0 subs, and after it came back, our sub, we don't lose subs when we post videos.
Did you see the difference? I was looking before the bug, we got plus 22 subs. Yesterday we got plus 400. How is that reasonable? We didn't even put a video up. Well, you put out an Overwatch one, didn't you? Yeah. That was it. Just a regular video like we always do. Yep, sound plus 4.
Usually we would lose 60 to 100 as soon as we posted a video. That doesn't seem to be happening anymore, so I don't want to jinx it. Still check, because people are still messaging me saying they've been unsubscribed, but maybe we've turned a corner on YouTube. Maybe we'll hit 100K before I'm a withered old man hovering around on a mobility disc like the meat one from Dan Dare. But there we have it anyway. So again, as always, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for the followers, subscribers, all of that good stuff. We will see you on the next episode of The Richard Lewis Show, provided we've got the mental strength to deliver you one. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.